All right, today we're talking about how the world has started to use God as an excuse. I talked about this in another one of my videos, but I wanted to specifically address it because I can't stand how soft people consistently are. But essentially, here's what's happening. The human brain is extremely lazy. It automatically wants to go to the path of least resistance. And on top of this, on top of the human brain automatically wanting to go to the path of least resistance, each time technology is added into our lives, we get lazier and lazier because we keep expecting a more frictionless and more frictionless life. So essentially, each time a new convenience is added, we lose discipline. And before it was fine. Laundry machine invented, cool. I no longer have to clean my individual clothes. Telephone invented, bang. I can now call up my friends. We can do something cool like that. But now we're at the point, essentially, where life is almost too frictionless. We have DoorDash for food, we have social media for fake interactions, and we have AI for thinking now. Everything has a shortcut. Everything. So, if everything has a shortcut and requires zero discipline, your life on paper looks super easy. Super easy. But just because your life looks easy on paper, just because this modern world is filled with shortcuts, that doesn't mean that life is no longer actually difficult. So randomly one day, your life gets difficult, you get handed a stack of responsibilities and you want nothing to do with it because you're used to taking shortcuts, you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and now you're looking for the shortcut for responsibility. But you're realizing that there is no shortcut except to give it to something intangible like God. And that's the point I'm trying to make here. Humans have consciously or unconsciously made the decision to give God their responsibilities. Now, I want to make it clear here. There's a difference between giving God your worries and giving God your responsibilities. But essentially, humans are being given responsibilities by life. They feel overwhelmed because they have no pain tolerance prior because they're used to taking shortcuts. So they take these stacked responsibilities and throw them over to God. And it's not even like you can call anyone out on this because God is intangible. So, I'm calling you out right now. I'm calling anyone out right now, but it's harder from a scenario to scenario basis. But it's really hard to call out because it's intangible. God is intangible. So this is why it's extremely hard to call anyone out. So humans have essentially created God as this ultimate excuse to not take responsibility, not take action, and not make decisions for themselves. They've made God this ultimate excuse. I'm telling you guys, people don't want to be saved from their sin. It's why Jesus says, many will say, Lord, Lord, yet not enter the kingdom. It's insane how blind people are. I honestly don't get it. I've had multiple conversations with multiple people about this topic, and I still don't know the answer. It's almost as if there are levels to consciousness within the human species, and not everyone has this unlocked, and you somehow need to unlock it. It hurts my brain. It's so painful. And you hear people say all the time, well, I'm just waiting on God to lose this weight for me. I'm just waiting on God to break this addiction for me. when it's pretty clear all you want is an excuse? Do you not understand that God is an internal transformation? So if you have the thought, I should lose weight, then go lose weight. That's simple. And then the internal transformation turns into an external transformation. But you guys pretty clearly don't want a transformation. You just want an excuse. And I see it in both men and women. Let's start off with the men. For the men, specifically single men, it is more difficult to find a woman worth marrying, specifically because the competition is so vast. And the women know the competition is so vast. So they're looking for the motivational men, the motivated men. But instead of being an absolute machine and proving your worth, most men are saying, hey, I'm just gonna watch TV, I'm just gonna watch sports, I'm just gonna play video games because I'm Christian and God's gonna provide because of that. You're a loser. Even if you have a girlfriend and you're not in a constant state of being motivated, you're in a losing game. Women are survival creatures, and they understand the world is getting more difficult. So they're looking for the motivated men. So if you're not in a constant pursuit of greatness, if you're not constantly trying to be motivated, she'll leave you. And when I say that women are survival creatures and they're looking for the motivated men, I mean the conscious women and the good women. The conscious women and the good women are actively seeking out these motivated men. They're sneakily, because women are sneaky, they're socially sneaky like this, they're sneakily putting themselves in positions to be discovered by the motivated men. So that's for the men, but for the women, you're just as bad. You also think that just because you're Christian, you're gonna find a truly motivated man. But in the same way that men need to gain the attention of women through showing motivation and almost proving themselves, the women need to gain the attention of men mainly through looks. And anyone who gets pissed off by that is just living in fantasy land. Any girl that I've recently talked to, I ask myself, one, are they Christian? Two, am I attracted to them? Women attract men through looks. Factual. Now, sustaining a relationship, keeping the relationship, keeping the attention is completely different. That's a completely different topic. But another thing I've noticed, some women, they graduate college and then all of a sudden, they claim to be Christian. When it's pretty obvious, you just want to eat a little bit more food, put a fake smile on your face, and then say, well, God says I'm enough, so I can do whatever I want. When in reality, it's pretty obvious, you're just upset about some past decisions you made. Now, I've been talking about weight here, losing weight, all this. And I want to say this, I still love my fat Christian friends. You can have a beautiful soul and still be fat. But if you struggle with weight loss, God isn't going to take that away from you. You need to seek help or do research on your own. Because when you lose weight, you aren't just losing weight for yourself, you're losing weight for your friends, your family, your future spouse. And as if that isn't even enough, do it for the love of God. Say to God, hey God, I love you, so I'm going to steward the body that you gave me. I'm going to steward the body that you gave me by taking care of my body so you can use me for the betterment of the kingdom. And use me as a vessel at any moment's notice, in any scenario, in any endeavor.